Alfie, shall we go back in time? You're Birmingham born and bred, and you were at Warsall's academy for a number of years as a youngster.
So I was there from under 15s into 16s, got a scholar there, and then I was there for like 2 years pro at Warsaw. And I left Warsaw and I ended up going to Gillingham for a season. And I came back home a bit homesick. And then I went part-time playing for AFC Telford. For the first season we got promoted. And I think it was pre-season we played TNS. And the rest is history.
And you moved to TNS from Telford. Was it that particular game that got you spotted, do you think?
I had half a decent game playing against Stephen Evans and Jacko at the time, 2 centre-halves. And after that game, spoke to a couple of players that were at TNS. One of the lads, Mine Naylor, his mate played for Telford, and he said that the manager was interested in me, and I hadn't signed a new deal at AFC Telford. So I came up, had a look around, went back to Telford, played another week, and then I decided to have a go in Wales, full-time football, so I came here.
That was a number of years ago when you were at TNS. We'll come to why you're back at Park Hall shortly, but in those years since you were here, the club has changed considerably.
Oh yeah, coming back, having a look, seeing some of the old faces. H, was an excellent goalkeeper, and my good friend Scott Roscoe, who's now the manager. Yeah, things have changed. They've moved on scientifically, having strength conditioning coach, just like all the analysis, etc. They've moved on miles now. It's moved on. The club's moved on. You can tell they've got obviously development of the club, players fitter, stronger. It's really good, impressive.
And as a player, when you were with the New Saints, you were here for a number of seasons. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Alfie. Any particular game that stands out for you personally?
Personally, I think I believe I may have been the first goal scorer to score at Park Hall, and I also think I was the first person to score a hat-trick here as well, against Carnarvon, scored a hat-trick here, so that's one of them. And I guess highlight also was when we won the title in 2005 or 6, and we won 3-2 and I scored the winning goal, so they're probably the main highlights. And obviously playing in Europe, they were really good memories and good experience as well.
Can you remember your debut for TNS?
Yes. It was away to what they called. It was away.
Was it Porthmadog by any chance?
Porthmadog. Played away to Porthmadog. I think we drew 1-1. I think Juice scored. I remember it really well. I missed a chance in that game to win the game. So I remember it.
And you are a striker by choice, but while you were with the New Saints, you also fitted in with the team as and when required.
I grew up hoping and wanted to be a striker. So I came through Warsaw's youth team as a striker. Reserves, I was leading goal scorer. Youth, when I was young, played in front until I got to kind of YTS level. I played on the left midfield, left back occasionally, in the hole occasionally up front. Centre forward was my preferred position, but being left-footed and I guess pacey, I covered a number of positions.
And what about the European games? You've already mentioned those. Those must have been quite an experience for you personally.
Oh yeah, there was a brilliant experience. Unfortunately, when we got to the Euro games, I was occasionally injured, so I didn't get to actually, ideally if I was fit, I believe I would have maybe started, but I was coming back from injury, so I was always, I wasn't starting the European games because I wasn't fit, or I'd missed one the first leg and come back for the second leg, and again I wasn't fit. But all in all, it was a brilliant experience, and I wouldn't change anything.
And all good things sadly must come to an end, so you did depart the club. But what about your football career after that?
Again, the last season I got injured against playing Wrexham, and I just never really shook it off really. So didn't really play the last season because I was injured, which was a lot of my career being injured. But yeah, I left here, went travelling for a little while, went around America, the East Coast, did a bit of travelling, a bit of coaching, came back, didn't really have the desire to play for a while, and then I had a few phone calls. Worcester City called me, Bath, and there was another, Gloucester City, and I was just saying I haven't played for 6 months, 7 months. I've not been fit. They said come along training. I went training, one session, Worcester, and they were like, we want you to play on Saturday. And I was like, I don't feel like I'm fit enough because I haven't won. We said he did really well in training, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get my international clearance in time. So I played the following Monday, started at left back, played the whole game, 90 minutes, and was very sore. And after that, I stayed there for the rest of the season, mainly as a left back. And I ended up being the second in goals for that season because if we were losing, I'd go up front for the last 20 minutes.
And this brings us up to the present time. You've mentioned that sadly you were injured on a number of occasions, and you're here at Park Hall, work experience because you want to get involved in physiotherapy work.
It's always been like a dream, desire, something I'm passionate about, physiotherapy. I just, at the time, when I look back, I've been looking at it for a few years now. It was just basically able to study and play or study and work. But because it's been a big part of my career, picking up injuries, so I've always been fascinated in how the body responds, etc. So I've decided to go into physiotherapy and hopefully at some stage work in sport if possible. That's the dream, but it might be working in the NHS, which again I'd be happy to do that also.
Because you've been working in a school, and I was going to ask you, is the intention of doing physiotherapy to continue working in education, or would you like to ultimately maybe work at a professional football club?
All my dream is to work at a professional football club. I love education. It's more to do with the helping individuals reach their potential more than the educational part. So a young lad or young girl who's struggling with maths, I like to encourage and make people fulfill the potential. So that's why I enjoy education. Physiotherapy has been my dream though, because I want to be in sport. I don't think anything replaces playing football. So I think physiotherapy is the closest thing for me to playing football. So coaching is really good as well, but I think physiotherapy has a different effect on me. That's something I'm passionate about, and that's the dream, really, professional football club or professional sports club, I should say.
And you're back here, work experience, of course, this is your third week that you've been here, and Scott Rusko, Steve Evans, Paul Harrison, those are players that you would have known from the past, of course, some of them in management now. How's it going for you on this particular placement?
Oh yeah, it's been brilliant. Obviously, I'm thankful to Scott, allowing me to come and have a look, see what they do on every day-to-day basis. Looking at the physio, seeing what he does. Being able to be hands-on with some of the players. I've done a bit of work with Kane Lewis, who's recovering from injury, so being able to go in the gym with him, do exercises, a bit of rehab. It's been really, really good. So I'm really just thankful to Scotty, giving me the opportunity to come along and see how great the club's moved on. So.
And the players I mentioned, of course, you were with them as a player back in the day. Did you keep in touch with Scott and Evo and H when you left the club?
Yeah, I haven't really spoke to H as much. Spoke now and again when I left. In the last few years, I spoke to Evo on social media, seeing how he was doing, coaching at Wales, etc. And seeing he's doing well, and that was good. And I spoke to Scotty quite a bit. I speak to Scotty on social media again, and I've always been really good mates with Scotty. Same as Mike Naylor, John Lear, so there's Dwayne Courtney. So the players we played with, I played with teammates. I'm still like mates with quite a few of them. In fact, I still speak to John Toner, Chris King. So I speak to a lot of them, mainly on social media, or I did come when last year when TNS clinched the title. I came up to Parkour with Tosh, Toner, Naylor, so we still keep in contact because it's a great bunch of lads. Tommy, he's the funniest lad I've ever played with.
Well, I remember that well when you came, because we did a little group interview, if you remember, on the balcony at the game prior to kick-off.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's really good. So I came up here with Nels because we're like really good mates, so we still speak all the time.
And when you mentioned some of those names, I would imagine you've got some stories to tell, but perhaps not stories that we can go into in this interview, maybe off camera.
Yeah, definitely. There's some characters there I've named.
Alfie, thank you for your time today. Really enjoyed our little chat and a little look into the past, a walk down memory lane. And of course, as we can see from your hoodie there, you're at the University of Salford, Manchester right now. And everyone from the New Saints wishes you all the very, very best in the future.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.